let's talk about the Epstein hearing, because you just stepped out of that closed-door interview with one of Jeffrey Epstein's longtime assistants. The testimony is coming to a close right now. According to sources, Leslie Groff, the longtime Epstein assistant, she denied knowing about the convicted sex offender's crimes. She did describe him as a master manipulator. You're on the Oversight Committee leading the investigation. You said that you believe Groff was being truthful when she said she did not witness Epstein's sexual behavior with underage girls. Yet, Groff apparently didn't see anything wrong with scheduling Epstein's massages with young women when he was already a registered sex offender. So can you explain why you think she's being honest about knowing of the crimes?
Sure. So she did not witness the sexual activity. She didn't witness it. That's it. That's the only thing I believe that she said truthfully. She tried to deny even knowing Jeffrey Epstein. She said she wouldn't describe that they had a relationship at all. So meanwhile, Jake, Leslie Groff's name is in the Epstein file more than Epstein's name is in there. She's in there 157,916 times, and we're only halfway done with the documents. So I do not think her testimony was truthful, except in that one narrow, the massage parlors were like on the fourth floor or third floor of Epstein's, mansion in New York, and Groff's office was on the first floor. So I think she's probably telling the truth about that. She did not witness anything. However, she did refer these young. Now, this was at a time when Epstein is a convicted, registered sex offender. She is still referring young women to give massages to Jeffrey Epstein. So there is complicity there. There's aiding and abetting, the activities of Jeffrey Epstein. So I am not giving her a pass at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Her 90% of her testimony was not believable.
So tomorrow, the Oversight Committee is going to hear from billionaire and Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates. His ties to Epstein are well documented in the Justice Department's Epstein files. What do you want to learn from Gates?
So we think, look, there's a number of business connections there. However, there's also a multi-year relationship between Gates and Jeffrey Epstein. And I know that much as Epstein was trying to play Gates just like he did Wexner to get investments, there was also something very creepy going on there. And we would like to find out to the degree that Bill Gates knew about that. I know he's apologized to his staff, but that relationship went on for a long time after Jeffrey Epstein was convicted and was a registered sex offender.
It's very difficult to believe what Leslie is saying, unfortunately. I mean, we've been asking her very tough questions over the course of many hours. The transcribed interview is still ongoing. And while she repeats herself over and over again, I think what is so difficult to believe is somebody who was so intimately involved as an executive assistant to somebody for 18 years, to your point, before and for 10 years after he was first convicted in 2008 and got his sweetheart plea deal. That is what is really challenging for me to believe. That's also why we believe, as Oversight Democrats, why it's so important to have these interviews in front of the American people under oath as a deposition or a hearing public for the American people, instead of these interviews that are taking place behind closed doors, that are not videotaped, that are just happening, quite frankly, in a vacuum. We are getting more valuable information about other people in Epstein's orbit, but I believe when Democrats are in power, we're going to have to bring every single one of these people back under oath to testify again.
I want to ask you about what she said about associates of Epstein's, because she was the conduit, right, between him and his high-profile friends. She also booked travel for him and dozens of women. What specifics did she offer on who those associates were? Is there evidence that these women were trafficked to these friends?
According to Leslie, she did anything that Jeffrey Epstein directed her to do. She said that he called her every single morning right before 9 a.m. with a laundry list of things to do, described it as crazy or chaotic, and that, she did as she was told. She really, is saying essentially that she was naive, didn't know better, did not think anything of it. She was calling and booking predominantly in New York, is what she says, that she didn't manage most of what happened in Palm Beach or in New Mexico. He also had, 5 or 6 traveling assistants. So that's people like Sarah Kellen, who of course came before us, and she herself was a victim and says she was a victim. But Leslie does not have that same story. She says she was never abused or assaulted by Epstein, that there was nothing romantic or sexual in nature there at all. And yes, she scheduled all of his calls with important high-profile people. She was just, as I left the room, being asked about setting up calls with Donald Trump before their alleged fallout, and she said that she did that about once a quarter before that time period.
And did she know anything about the tenor of their conversations? Did she reveal any of that?
She would reveal nothing about that, said she didn't know. I mean, the number of times the interview will come out as it does in form of a transcript.
Yeah.
You will see the words, I don't recall, I don't know, no, I wasn't aware, many, 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 many times.
Understood. Congressman, you mentioned that 2008 agreement that Epstein reached with federal prosecutors, obviously controversial in its own right, but it includes a clause that it would not bring any charges against any potential co-conspirators, including Leslie Groff. Did she answer questions about that? Why was her name included in this non-prosecution agreement?
My recollection is that she said she did not know. She, was not aware. And Sarah Kellen said a very similar thing, that she found out about it after the fact. I think there needs to be an independent investigation into this non-prosecution agreement from 2008. I think Alex Acosta, when he came before the committee, made very clear, at least in my view, it was very clear that he was lying and being untruthful. And I think that there are so many questions about that 2008 agreement. Why were these people listed as co-conspirators but then never investigated? Why were federal charges not brought forward? Why has nobody else in relation to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's heinous crimes ever been questioned or properly investigated, let alone prosecuted by the Department of Justice? I believe this is a massive, massive, massive cover-up that the Trump administration has exacerbated, and that is why this investigation is just getting started. Every single one of these people needs to come back before the committee under oath, and we need to actually make sure people are accountable and people go to jail for the crimes that they committed.